What's up, everyone? Kaiju no Kami here with
Silverquill
and
Cruellica Kain. Hi, everyone.
We are here to talk about the final 2 episodes to Ultraman Decker because it's finally over.
Don't my nails start to look nice?
Oh, very nice.
Thank you. I figured I'll do blue and red.
It's our blue period.
It'll be my red face soon, too.
Oh, there you go.
So is the other side going to be red and silver to match Ultraman?
I don't have silver.
I'm right here.
I meant the color of nail polish. I have black.
There was some black in the costumes.
Yeah, I think so.
Were there not?
The reason why I'm painting my nails, just so you're aware, is because this is so much more entertaining than what we just watched.
Oh, really? I mean,
Oh, it wasn't bad. Like, I actually...
It wasn't trigger bad, but...
Okay, I will say, on the whole, I've enjoyed Decker a far greater deal than Trigger. Mostly because the characters felt more grounded and had an arc and a relationship, whereas Trigger, many of them were just eccentric personalities, but no growth.
Well, it felt like they utilized all 5 of the main characters.
Indeed, a smaller cast, but far more effective. Also, they didn't try to, quote, humanize the final villain.
Although it was weird, though, having just, well, essentially 2 commanders and 3 field people, because...
And a partridge in a pear
that
tree.
doesn't really work well with a squad.
Why do you say that?
I don't know. You think a squad would be 5 people on top, and then the commander.
Well, let's see here. I mean, like 6 people is usually a fire team,
Mm-hmm.
and then a squad is 3 sets of fire teams, so 18 at least.
Well, okay. I think of this team as actually being a really good match to what you need. Because, oh, son of a bitch. But anyways, what I was trying to say before I destroyed my nail polish work is that
I saw.
Is that the team worked well being the size it was versus having too many characters. I understand you may not have thought it worked having 2 commanders and 2 field agents, but I looked at the 2 commanders as having their own specialties. So you had the main commander is kind of like...
Oh, that's fine. I'm just saying it was kind of weird just to have...
One is people management and one is actual tactical management.
Or monster management, she was the more knowledgeable
Yes.
monster study.
But, well, okay, so the start of this episode just feels weird because it has been a month since the last new episode aired that we watched, which ended with Trigger shooting the Mother Spherist in space, and then we had a week off, then a clip show.
That's a show. Okay, clip shows are still... They're only entertaining if you watch them at twice the speed, so everyone sounds like Alvin and the Chipmunks.
All I know is this show has outdone Gundam Seed Destiny when it comes to clip shows, because Gundam Seed Destiny had a clip show at episode 47. We had 48, 49, and 50 for the finale. Here, we've got episode 23, clip show 24, 25.
I don't know if that's anything to be proud of, that you've surpassed Gundam Seed Destiny. Or if you make Gundam Seed Destiny look better by comparison, then you really done fucked up.
Yeah, I don't know if you should be saying that anything makes Gundam Seed Destiny look good. Because Gundam Seed Destiny, I was a champion for Destiny. I fought for us to continue watching Destiny.
With the hopes that...
Or Gundam Seed, I mean.
Yeah.
And then we get to Destiny, and I felt like all of my fighting to get him to continue watching Gundam Seed, it died. And I'm like, well, son of a bitch!
Well, what's weird though, funny though, is I saw Destiny... I only saw the first few episodes of Gundam Seed, then Destiny came on, because Destiny was airing in Japan, so I'm watching the show Raw or Fansub, I think it was Raw though, and I'm like, why is Mulaflaga the villain of this show? And everyone's like, that's not Mulaflaga. You'll know why it's not Mulaflaga when you finally finish Gundam Seed. I'm like, no, that's Mulaflaga. It's clearly Mulaflaga. I'm like, no, it's not. And then...
Spoiler alert for anyone who has not watched Seed or Seed Destiny, apparently.
If you haven't done that by this point, you're really avoiding the worst. So we're doing you a public service.
And then when I go and see, then I think it was Cartoon Network finished Gundam Seed, and like, oh, that's why people can't say this Mulaflaga. But that's totally gotta be Mulaflaga. And then like the following week is the reveal for Roanoke. And I'm like, I told you it was Mulaflaga.
But now that we've gotten over our little diatribe about Gundam,
it's kind of interesting though because Shinasuka, the main character of Destiny, is the main character of Ultraman Dyna. Decker is based on Dyna.
I'm not sure we're over Destiny.
Apparently not. Apparently we're still being triggered by it.
It is your destiny.
At least they kept Smile to just one episode. Oh, wow. I think that's his trigger.
But I did...
double face palm.
I did actually like the fact how... what's her face? The chickadee.
Oh, the female commander?
No, not commander. The girl. What did we call her?
Pouty?
Pouty. How she... After Kanata says, smile, smile. And she's like, no, we're not doing this. I'm like, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a while since I had intrusive for Kanata, pouty, angsty, or growly.
Growly.
For Ryumon.
Ryumon.
I still think Digimon when I hear that.
I know.
Ryumon, digital monsters, Ryumon.
I do not think of a name like Ryumon as a real person name. And if it is a real person name in Japan, that's cool.
Ryumon, what's up, my man?
Okay, please do not do that.
I'd just like to point out that I am not in any way fully associated with Creativity by Design LLC. If you would like to direct all complaints to them.
I work in human resources, so I will take this in the hand, and I will do some counseling to ensure that it does not happen again.
I think it's already in hand.
Okay, Marcus.
Oh, we're going real names now.
You play, just stick with GTA 4, do not continue where you're going.
Where's the fun in that?
Because.
So, I've actually been a little bit out of Decker for a bit, but apparently I didn't miss too much because I still knew who was who, what was what,
and where things were at.
And where things were going at. The Sphere. The Sphere are kind of interesting, not for what they are, but for the fact that they're in a Japanese story. Because here's what I mean.
Okay.
Japan started out as a lot of small villages close together, trying to weather the elements all together. And in that, you develop a very collectivism spirit. We're all in this together, we share resources, but the flip side is don't do anything to embarrass the community. And also, the good of the community takes precedence over the good of the individual.
Well, yes. They're very hive-minded in that way.
This, however, is a championship for individualism. That all become one, especially when it's under being forced, is not okay. So I find it very fascinating to see a Japanese story. As Japan, now that it's far more developed, it can't maintain that village cohesion. Individualism, I think, has a stronger presence in modern day Japan, but a culture that was founded in collectivism.
Well, I do see that more and more, where they're becoming, for lack of a better way of putting it, more westernized. The reason I say that is we just recently got the Ju-on horror movie set.
Mm-hmm.
And watching a lot of the interviews, specifically by Shimizu, who is the director, the creator, writer, and director of Ju-on.
Mm-hmm.
We know it in America as The Grudge.
Mm-hmm.
So, and basically, when he was talking about the opportunity he had when he did the first Japanese film, and America took notice after the success, well, international audiences took notice after the success of the first movie, and they wanted to bring it over into Hollywood. And he even talked about when he was doing it in Japan, it's very segmented of how you have to do it. You're given like a certain amount of budget, which yes, you're given that in America as well, but you have very stringent limitations of what you can or cannot do. When he was given the opportunity to do it in America, and yes, it's still being filmed in Japan, but because it's done by an American team, he was given so much more opportunity to go outside of his box, outside of his boundaries. And he even said, it gave me an opportunity to do new things that I was not allowed to do because...
Under a Japanese budget.
Under a Japanese budget, under a Japanese-centric oversight, because even though they are still more individualized, they're still very, very community-focused.
Well, we heard something similar with Shin Ultraman, the director who wished people could give feedback
Higuchi.
In Japan, but they were all politely quiet. Again, don't embarrass the community. Whereas when here in America, where people laugh freely, even perhaps inappropriately, he at least got feedback from the audience that they were enjoying it.
Well, one of the bands that we met, a Japanese band called Acme, who is a hard rock Japanese band, so J-rock.
Do they at least crush Wile E. Coyote while they're at it?
I wanted to so ask that question, but we were in a group interview, and I couldn't ask anything about Acme from Looney Tunes, or I would so go down that path. But when we first started the interview, and it was a group interview, so we had others next to us who were asking questions alongside us, they were so, like, when they started, they were so polite, so just respectful. And then you have me, because the lady next to us was American chick as well. And I say that because she acted like a chick, not a lady. She was like fangirling in a way and trying to be like super, super respectful of everything they asked. I, on the other hand, come up and start asking fun questions. And you saw them like break out of their shells and laugh and have fun. And I'm like, in my mind, I'm like...
we had the same thing with Star Marie in 2019.
Yes.
Because once we started cracking jokes during the interview to spice it up, they started doing the same. And
what really made them start laughing is I made a joke about him. I was like, yeah, he's my gigantic child of a husband. We've been together for 20 years. And they just started like laughing at that, like, oh, we can be different. And so... watching shows like this now brings up the point that you made. It's that they're trying to be different, and they're trying to make this new presentation of how they want to be. Now, the question I have, that I know we don't know the answers, but I would love your insight, just because you see so much more than I do at times, is how do you think this is going to resonate?
With the Japanese audience, I don't know the culture that strongly that they would, if this would make an impact. But I do find it interesting. There's definitely an appeal. The guy who is piloting the giant mech.
Agams.
Agams.
One-dimensional dude.
Well, his girlfriend, wife, whatever.
His wife.
His flashback waifu.
Flashback waifu.
She's always talking about, we will build a bright future with our friends out in the universe. Now, I know that for a long time Japan has been a very inward-looking, some have accused of ethnocentric. culture. So a message about looking out there and making friendships with beyond, even if it's, well, maybe not another planet. That too, I feel like indicates a shift, a conscious shift, at least from the creative side of Japanese culture, to encourage a move away from their current view.
Yeah, but I kind of feel as though, and not to bring up other Ultraman stuff, but Shin Ultraman, listening to their perspective of how they look at the annoying big brother, America, which admittedly, I will say, even though I did not live during the time of like immediately post World War II. You, on the other hand, seem like an old soul, so you might have been there. But
Chrysalis would have.
Chrysalis would have, and he probably would have seen everything.
He would have said he was there at the time of the quickening, and the before.
But nevertheless, it makes me wonder, though, how they truthfully at times do view the rest of the world.
Shin Godzilla also touched on that.
Oh, God. I think more heavy-handedly than the subtlety we had with Ultraman.
Politically, I think there's a great resentment that America is setting limits on their growth and potential, and that that Japan is continually answering to America, the government. I don't know about America, the culture.
To be fair, I mean, they did bring it upon themselves way back when.
Well,
because that's the problem, is that some of this, it still stems from everything that occurred almost
during World War II.
Yeah.
And even then, factors were at play, not in America or Japan.
Well, yeah.
I've read some articles and some videos about the debate over whether the Hiroshima was even justified, and
because I don't think there should have been two.
Well, that's a point of debate. If I bring it up with my family, they've grown up with the history of it saved more lives than.
Well, that's my grandfather, being that he was a World War II vet.
Yeah,
he was of the belief that if there was any inaction. The world would be very different.
Yeah, but you didn't have to go and drop 2 nuclear bombs on a country.
I think my grandfather was a World War II vet as well, but he never talked about it.
My grandfather was very... it was his way of
Uh-huh.
I understand being pissed off with that type of with the bombing, but that was no need to go and just nuke them.
Well, either way, we're getting into the historical what-ifs. Funny that we're tangential. I did find this an enjoyable ending. I can't say it was like stir of the heart.
I respected how they did it. Now, jokingly, the reason I did it with the whole nail polish thing is because I actually wanted to paint my nails. I thought this would be a 2-for-1 deal. But
technically, it's two colors on one person's hands.
But at the same time, I think the challenge I had with it is that I kind of wish they fully committed to either having Trigger be the second Ultra.
Well, yeah, because he didn't even do anything in the final battle itself.
Well, like I was going to say, up until the finale, or kind of not have him there. Because you didn't watch the episode, but the prior episode, as we've kind of prefaced a few times, is episode 22 it was. 23, where he shows up and you kind of feel as though he's going to have a much more bigger impact.
A much more bigger
that he was going to have a bigger impact to the end of the series than I feel like he did. And I feel like it would have been justified to have a bigger impact because of the way they're weaving the narrative throughout Decker that this is 10 years later from Trigger, so it kind of makes sense where you're going to have a little bit more of that. But that's what I was disappointed on. I did like the fights. I thought the fights were really well done. I thought some of the cinematography, especially when using the miniatures, like when you saw the one miniature where you have like the backyard, it looks like, and you have the 2 trash cans, and when I think it was Decker, when he hits the ground and you see those jump, I thought things like that were cool. And then when you see the lights blinking for the street lights and things like that, I also did like the fact that all of the characters got a moment.
I will say, okay, it was interesting, not weird. Okay.
Interesting weird?
Yes. Unlike you, I'm not going to backspace my dialogue because it still doesn't work.
Okay,
but
his Ultraman title would be Ultraman Grammar Nazi.
Oh my god. Yeah, you have to definitely have that hyphen so it's not...
Yeah, no, cool. Nazi.
So, okay, we got Pouty. She's like, oh my god, Kengo is Trigger? And then it's like, when Kanata crashes down, she doesn't even say anything. And then when Kanata's
she knew that Kanata was Decker.
No, she didn't. Only Ryuman knew, and the commander. Because apparently the Vice Commander was too blind when he transformed in front of her.
Oh, and, well...
don't spray
the commander didn't know it was the little robot guy.
No, the commander knew.
He didn't seem like he knew.
He hinted a few weeks ago that he knew.
Yeah, but when they talked about it in that scene, it did not feel like
he said I knew.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. He said, after he stood up...
Roll back the footage, because I swear to you, he did not say he knew.
I don't feel the need to see it again.
He said, I knew. When they were doing their planning.
It did not seem like he said he
yes,
knew.
Do you remember in the episode when Kengo was in the infirmary? And Ryuman went to go... was doing all this, and the commander looked at Pisspot and said, and then made the comment...
Did you just call Hanajiro Pisspot?
Pisspot.
Pisspot. Oh,
and then he says, oh, Kengo's doing it for us. Hinting that he knew... Right.
I don't... Okay. We're going to have to agree to disagree, because I'm not going to continue arguing.
We'll let the audience decide. Do you think the commander knew? Didn't he already say, I knew?
And do you think my nails look good?
Nobody cares.
I do. I think they look nice.
Thank you.
Don't encourage her.
Although, I will say, I see blue and red together. I'm spending far too much time watching the news and seeing the political. Much so, ladies and gentlemen, and all
that was
others.
really not my intent.
But when at the end, when they finally defeated the Mother Sphere, and all these ships are coming down, all I could think of is the GOP. They're coming to take our jobs.
But all I'm thinking too is, how long have they been circling outside the Earth for? And if they're right there already, I mean,
that's again.
So it made me pull a U.
Okay.
So one thing you don't know about Silverquill, so I'm going to let you in on a little secret.
Gasp.
Silverquill is actually very literal when he watches certain things, because he tries to figure out how it would work in reality. So I was actually surprised you did not do that, because I'm watching this and all I'm like, I know the distance between Earth and Mars. I know the distance because that's one of the benefits of also working at a company that deals in space. But even just with logistically, it takes a long time to get from Mars to Earth.
Well, that part I don't know, because I don't remember how long it took in the series. Like in Trigger. Did it take him a week or a month to get to Earth? I don't know.
Well, okay. Even with advanced technology, it takes a few months.
Have you never watched Star Wars? They go from one galaxy to the next in seconds.
Well, that's because they have this fictional thing called hyperdrive.
Well, it's not galaxy. It's not really galaxy. Actually, it's solar systems.
Oh, that was awesome. Oh, my God. I can't believe you just did that.
Well, actually.
Oh, my God.
The fact that there were nerds like that. If you've never seen Revenge of the Nerds, I'm sorry, because that's like a pivotal movie in our culture.
Well, I mean, like the Pokemon pun video I did.
I try not to think about that.
Well, I got people saying, well, actually, there is an origami Pokemon.
Oh, there is?
It's
No
called
shit.
it's called the Drawn Sword Pokemon, but it looks like origami. And I'm like, well, that's what I get for trying to make a joke to nerds.
But, okay.
Their knowledge
was
will
funny.
their knowledge will always take away the punchline.
But it
okay.
really was. It was funny though. Who cares if it was funny?
But if it's not called an origami Pokemon.
Wow, what are you thinking?
But I'm thinking about the fact that, okay, it's called Drawing Sword or Drawn Sword?
The Drawn Sword Pokemon.
That's... Okay, nevertheless.
Give you a bad paper cut.
But
Yeah, you.
anyway, so we've got our final battle that goes how you expect.
Final Monster was I like the design, but it made me think of Space Godzilla.
But for being, like I said when we were watching, for being a sphere, she had a lot of points.
Yeah,
And was very edgy.
I like the one comment that you made, that all of this, they still run back to Mother.
Yeah, it turns out the spheres are all a bunch of little wusses because they call in their mommy.
But every time I hear...
Mommy, they're not giving in to us.
But every time I hear the term mother, just the term mother, with relation to science fiction, I always think of Alien.
Thank God, because I was worried we get Ultraman another M.
Oh,
I
yeah.
heard the baby cry from across the solar system.
Oh my God! Please
Light
don't
the
go.
future, Decker.
Okay, that kind of pissed me off, I will say. Okay, Decker, his device disintegrates, but then it just reappears. That defied.
It was through a lot of energy.
That defied the entire point of even having it disintegrate, because disintegrate means, oh my God, okay, how is he going to be able to be transformed to Decker now? He's lost his ability. Oh, he can just pull it out of that. It didn't actually do anything.
Well, apparently he needed the energy from. He needed some of the energy from the Eternity Core for Trigger to pull out to energize Decker to reconstitute.
But
as far as I can tell, because the thing dissolves after every fight, technically. Well, actually.
no.
Oh dear, I'm going to be on this trip for a while.
But now you need to do a Silverquill like that.
Oh God.
Oh my God! I so need to see that. When you can fully animate Silverquill, I want to see him. And I want to see tape around the middle of the glasses too. Because if you were going to go full hardcore old school nerd, you have to have the tape here.
And I hope someone got fired for that blender.
Oh my God! And you have to have a lisp.
You're on the list.
The lisp.
Okay,
Oh.
so okay.
I'm Silverquill.
So we've got Kengo, who's crashing on Earth, as Decker.
I want them to high five and break their arms.
Oh yeah, that would have been quite the handoff.
Kengo isn't even transformed anymore, but he just manages to land safely on the ground, like
Doing the superhero landing.
But not
Which
as
apparently-
impressively.
No, which, as Deadpool rightly says, is bad for your knees.
But what I wondered is Intrusive was just standing in that parking lot just watching this whole fight until he was summoned.
And then he runs.
And then he runs. It's like, what are you going to charge the monster in human form?
And then so then we have,
That's Kengo fodder.
they say the Nurse Desi is out of commission.
Yes!
But then suddenly the Nurse Desi's in the battle. It's like, well, that's convenient. We got it perfectly repaired before the final
Well,
battle.
that's what made no sense to me. How much time passed? Because they literally said, because we were all confused about this, because the commander said, Motoki, which I know his name's not Motoki, but I think it's Sailor Moon, he specifically said, well, the Nurse Desi is out of commission.
Yeah.
So when I think of something as out of commission...
It's done. It's broken. It's busted. It's not coming into the next battle.
Well, actually, Whoa. See, now I'm working on a character here.
I love it.
My face
Oh
might
my
not
God,
survive
now I
it.
need to get you a tweed shirt.
Oh, no.
We're just gonna go.
Oh,
so
we're gonna-
your new outfit,
Okay.
instead of having these sequins, is gonna be like all nerd hardcore. Gonna have to get you a clip-on tie.
Can I at least get a glitter tie?
No.
Aww.
Okay. But yeah,
And
so
again,
the
like-
Nurse Jessie out of commission, but not really.
Yeah, more rounded.
It was like
Yeah, bottle
what?
can glasses.
bottle cap.
And so that just bothered me a lot.
That bothered you.
Well, a lot of things in this show bother me. And then, okay, we've got the Terra Phaser.
Yep.
I thought they got destroyed.
I was a little confused by that too. I thought there were like wires falling out of the middle of the chest.
Should I say anything? I'm not afraid to.
No, but I
What?
thought the Terra Phaser got blown up with a GOMS. So how did it? Oh my god! No, I'm thinking
You're a gum.
knee. I'm like
A gum?
now it is like oh yeah that. Now that we're actually talking about the show, I'm thinking about like oh my god that was wrong.
Well, okay. I'm not gonna pick on that because that has happened in more shows than I can count. You have that what's called I think it's Deus Ex Machina.
Well, I wouldn't call that Deus Ex. More just, I know better. That's my thing. Is while it was still under the control of a GOM, and the Nurse Jessie Cannon took out one of those pillars. I found it so funny how the Terra Phaser suddenly turned and pointed its claw at the Nurse Jessie, like, "You just made a mistake.
Doing like a whole Nicolas Cage moment.
You done fucked up. I'm about to show you why. I'm going to take you out of commission for 5 minutes." Nurse Jessie's like, "I got better.
It wasn't that bad. It was just a scratch.
Just this guy. I'm invincible." Great, the Nurse Jessie's
But-
just hobbling on one foot.
All right,
towards
overall,
the mother's spear.
the series was not trigger bad,
No, I'm almost getting her to spew.
but
Whew.
it's
I try to swallow, not spit.
Ooh.
now I'm thinking of that Rammstein song.
Well, yes, because it's called spit or swallow.
But so overall,
You're so innocent. That's why you're a good teacher.
I like the show is okay, not the worst series, not even close to being the best. Agams was easily the worst part of the show because they didn't really do much of anything with him.
Well, he was actually a very subtle way to teach an American audience Japanese words. Umi, san,
Sora, Kaze.
sora, kaze.
Yeah, because apparently his wife learned Earth language, the Earth language very well.
The only Earth language apparently.
And so I understand because Americans are just as bad, or American
You
media.
speak the universal language, English.
But the benefit, in a way, I will say, as frustrating as it is that at least with English, it is the most spoken language in the world.
The commercial language. But again, I kind of feel like Dora the Explorer should have been in this series. Because, there was that whole, which AI should we use? And now there's all these, hola amigos, si, umi, vegan, whatever. And can you name all these Japanese names? Can you say pendejo?
Can you say bandejo? Alright, anyone in the comments, if you know the Japanese version of bandejo,
Hey, there you go.
that would be awesome.
Would that be gaijin? Foreign?
Do you not know what bandejo means?
I guess I don't.
Okay, in the comments, because I will tell you after.
Oh no, I'm gonna Google
No.
this. I'm gonna
Don't
Google.
know.
Bandejo means asshole.
So gaijin can still work.
True, but so all I'm thinking of now is Fox Kids. They would have, I think it was the Tick. They'd have like he reads these letters.
Yeah.
And he read a letter. How come all aliens speak English? He's like, oh well, that's simple. They don't hire the ones that don't.
Wow, that was oddly universally timed. I wonder if I can check that on YouTube later. Tick letters.
I actually have to say that's hilarious.
I think it was the Tick that they did have.
Oh, now you don't know for sure.
No. I know the letters, but I'm pretty sure it was the Tick that was reading it. Because I think they also did some with some of their other cartoon characters.
Oh, okay. I'm like, don't take this away from me.
But yeah, they always how
Oddly universal Oddly timeless humor with that one. I mostly remember the tip saying, well, if you want to save trees, don't write letters. They're made of paper.
There is that.
So, anyway. Honestly, I think given the many tangents we've had talking about this, we weren't offended, but I also can't say we were fully engaged by this finale.
Well, you were drawing the entire time.
And I was also paying attention, but yeah. I like to draw when I watch a show. It's like I engage parts of my brain while I'm absorbing.
Well, I'm kidding because apparently we're recording a video and I'm doing beauty regimens.
A wax on?
Get it?
Wax off.
No.
You messed up on that one.
How did I mess up on that one?
You didn't get all the blue on there.
It's like I don't care. I'm not
also, if we want to fully honor Ultraman, we got to get her some silver nail polish.
Yeah, I liked having silver nail polish. Once upon a time, I had every color in the rainbow.
Overall, yeah, mediocre, run of the mill.
Mediocre.
Meh.
Well, you did
All
mention. Well, actually, it's kind of fitting that I'm painting my nails these colors because you did tell me who the writer of this series was.
The writer from this one is the guy who did Rube.
Which again sounds more like an insult to me, but that's from an American.
I know well, that's why when we saw it as RB, we actually kept on calling it Ruby.
Well, that's a whole other show, and that's a kettle of fish.
Well, yeah, because that's RWB.
Yeah, all I know is that it ruined my joke for calling it Ruby in my review, because I was like, oh, it's Rube? Well, there goes my Ruby joke.
Nah.
But
what could have been?
But every time I did hear and find out that it was Rube, I thought the same thing. I was like, a Rube is...
Well, that's Rube.
He is like an idiot, an asshole. Don't be a Rube. I remember saying that as a kid because I heard older individuals saying that.
Well, now I'm just kind of wonder if there's like a southern Ultraman out there. Shida! What?
They'll talk like the two guys from Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
Oh God, I hope not. No, those
Skids and Mudflap. That's
they were not from the South. They were from hell.
Alright, but overall, what did you guys think of the final episodes to Ultraman Decker? What did you think of it as a whole? Did you like it, or you're like, it exists? Or you're like, oh my God, this was like the greatest show ever, or oh my God, this was the worst Ultra series ever made. Shoot me now!
No, don't. Nobody shoot themselves. No television show is worth that torture.
Oh my God, I'm not talking in the literal sense.
Well, honestly, I thought you were quoting yourself during Trigger.
Yeah, there was that though. Pull the trigger now. Pull the trigger now. Pull the trigger now.
And the funny thing is, we have like a whole closet full of toy guns from various Super Sentai Tokusatsu series. We could pull the trigger on him many times and not do anything.
I was kind of hoping I bit the bullet.
She made a pun.
Because I was hoping the next time we watch Dawn Brothers to actually have the Henshin device. But every time I started looking at it on Amazon, he would miraculously appear over my shoulder and make this scoffing noise or glare at me that I'm like second guessing. So I think I'm just going to take the chance and get it soon.
There we go.
Alright, with that said, you can follow us at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Discord. What are you doing?
Nothing!
See, we were gonna
Patreon.
Facebook.
At Kaiju no Kami. Website is Creativity by Design, LLC.com. You can buy cool Kaiju no Kami merchandise at Creativity by Design, LLC.com/shop. And you can also find...
We're so white, we can't coordinate.
We can't coordinate, and one-handed patty cake was not working. You can find me on YouTube, DeviantArt, and Twitter under MLP Silverquill.
What about that Ko-fi?
Oh, well, there's a link to my Ko-fi page on my Twitter, on my YouTube.
On your Twitter.
On my, the Twitter links to YouTube, which, I guess I could. Anyway, yes, I do also have a Patreon and a Ko-fi that you can support, MLP Silverquill. Or if you can send your thoughts on Nerdy Quill. Well, actually,
What about Toku Twitter?
Toku Twitter. Well, I'm trying to animate one guy at a time. But yes, I am working on a Tokusatsu Silverquill.
Well, I thought you were going to make a whole Toku Twitter channel, too.
Oh. Well, I haven't thought of that yet. Are we talking a whole new YouTube channel or a whole new Twitter account?
A whole new Twitter account, possibly. Because I'll do one on Toxic Toku.
A Toku Twitter.
Because I can be, like, so toxic towards Toku. I can, like...
Ooh, you can name the hashtag, at Toku Twit.
Toku Twit. I will see if that account has been taken.
It probably has. But anyway, alright guys, until next time, yay, Decker's over! Woohoo!